Hey everyone, my name's Stryster, and for today's video, we're going to be talking about Ken Penders. The man, the myth, the legend, who frankly is misunderstood by many, Ken Penders. A name that strikes fear into the eyes of many individuals, actually contributed quite a lot during his time at the helm of Archie Comics. While the internet may paint him as nothing more than the downfall of the series itself, we've seen how he can actually deliver some great stories. The last time I took a look at the work of Ken Penders, we went through the events of the Endgame Saga, Mobius 25 years later, and his last story in the series, the Metal Sonic Trooper 3-parter. So we're gonna go back to the past to relive some of the early days of Ken Penders and look at some more stories and see what makes him so special. We've got the Sonic in Your Face special, the 3-part Princess Sally miniseries, and the Sonic vs. Knuckles Battle Royale Super Sonic special. So you know the drill, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take another dive into the world of Ken Penders and Archie Sonic. In October 1994, Archie Comics graced the world with the Sonic in Your Face special. This was a one-shot comic that featured a collection of stories, even one from artist Patrick Spaziante. But the one we're going to be focusing on today is The Quest by Ken Penders and Mike Kantorovich. This story concludes on a backup story found in issues 17 and 18 that aid in the characterization of Sally Acorn, as she reminisces about her past and how Robotnik took over Mobius. In addition to that, a mysterious orb has appeared, and issue 18 also features the death of her mentor, Julia, who taught her that wisdom cannot be taught, but acquired. All of these recent events have been weighing heavy on her head, and after a quick sparring match with Sonic, she digs through Julia's stuff to find a blue vest and a map, prompting her to go on an adventure the next day. However, she's not going alone, as the Freedom Fighters join her with the aid of the mysterious orb, which is none other than Nicole, a supercomputer that Sally befriends. The group make their way to the Forbidden Zone, where they face off against 3 different Guardians: a Cyclops, which they beat by not moving, a fire-breathing Griffin, which Tails defeats by pulling out the sword, instantly stopping the creature, and a 2-headed dragon, which they have to solve a riddle in order to get past it. What they find at the end is a scroll, which has the crew perplexed. However, 20 years later, thanks to Julia's teachings, the war against Robotnik has been won, and things are looking bright for the team. Rotor makes the finishing touches on Nicole and sends her back to where the events of this story begin. The Quest is a pretty interesting story, as it gives off a SatAM vibe and even introduces multiple elements from the TV series. The adventure itself is another fun tale, and it was nice that Sonic and Tails got their moments to shine in this Sally-centric story. Although it is a letdown that Antoine and Bunny were just there during the issue. While the story took a serious tone, it wasn't all just for show, as Julia plays an important emotional drive for Sally. While we didn't get enough time with her in the prologue leading to the special, we can see her influence throughout the story, and it's all handled wonderfully. With a bit of action and character growth, The Quest is a fantastic story that explores Sally's past and relation with her mentor, and allows for some interesting character depth of the titular freedom fighter. The Archie Sonic comics had a variety of character multi-part stories. Tails got his own, which featured a Thayer, the 40 Fathom Freedom Fighters, and even the Down Under Freedom Fighters. Knuckles would get his own that aided in expanding the comics lore on the Echidnas, and introduced a variety of new heroes and enemies, and helped start the 32-issue spin-off by Ken Penders. But we're gonna take a look at the 3-part miniseries about Sally Acorn. The Princess Sally miniseries follows up on the events in the backup story in Sonic the Hedgehog issue 20. To sum it up, Sally destroys one of Robotnik's bases and encounters Geoffrey St. John, a former member of King Max's Secret Service and the leader of an underground freedom fighting group. Sally and Geoffrey are ambushed by some SWAT bots, but take them out with ease. We are then introduced to a group of freedom fighters in training. One of them, Hamlin, doesn't trust Geoffrey. I mean, I don't blame him. He did get jumped by him out of nowhere, but Geoffrey's on the team, and the gang head to another Robotnik base hidden near the edge of the Great Forest. Sally attempts to detonate the place, but suddenly gets chased by a couple of orb bots. The orb bot falls into a ditch and part 1 ends with Joffrey heading over to a secret area where another Sally is residing in a tube. What's truly going on with Joffrey? Our answers lie in the second part as the group head to one more base located within an atoll, forcing the heroes to approach it in the air. One of the freedom fighters, Arlo, didn't land so well, so he and Penelope sit this base raid out. They make it, only for Sally and Co to get captured by an octopod robot. Joffrey uses some explosives, and the robot is destroyed along with the base itself. However, when they leave, Arlo and Penelope are gone. Sally urges the team to leave the premises. Staying would only bring more harm than good, and so they all head back to their camp. Joffrey sneaks back to the secret base with another unconscious Sally to reveal that what we've been following was a duplicate. As the team continue their way to raid yet another base, Joffrey delivers to Robotnik Sally? The finale concludes with Sally and Co. coming face to face with Robotnik and Joffrey. The team thinks that the real Sally is about to be roboticized, but they don't know about the switch up from the previous part, which leads to the roboticizer blowing up the Robo-Double. As a last-ditch effort, Robotnik sends in some self-bots and self-destructs his fortress, but the underground rebel crew, along with Arlo and Penelope, come to the rescue. Sally and Co escape the base, and the story ends with Sally and Joffrey parting their separate ways, and the princess heads back to Knothole. Deadliest of the Species is a fantastic action story that blends some emotional aspects and some incredible action-oriented moments to deliver a solid and fun 3-part adventure. While I do think the formula of the group heading to a base and destroying it felt a bit repetitive, Penders was able to add a bit of mystery with the newcomer to the series, Joffrey, who seemingly is portrayed as a double agent for Robotnik, but actually was helping out the heroes all along. This whole mini-series was fun from start to finish, and shows that Ken can write a pretty compelling story that balances spectacle and substance without neglecting either one of those two elements to deliver a fantastic story. The last story on this list focuses yet on another battle between Sonic the Hedgehog and his friendly nemesis, Knuckles the Echidna, but now with a very interesting twist: the Freedom Fighters versus the Chaotix. Who will come out on top? After a distress signal from Knuckles, the Freedom Fighters head to the floating island only to find the Chaotix. They've just finished taking out some enemies thanks to the Sword of Acorn, and tell the Freedom Fighters to beat it. So they all battle it out, and the Chaotix and Freedom Fighters retreat. Each team questions why the other side is acting so unreasonable, and Knuckles makes it on the scene, and they brawl yet again. Archimedes and Sally try to de-escalate the situation by leading Dulcie to Archimedes. The both of them cause an explosion, which causes everyone to disappear. Mammoth Mogul and the Fearsome Four appear. Mogul gloats over how successful his plan is, as he's tricked both teams by creating illusions of the Fearsome Four to resemble the opposite team. However, before he can continue, the real Chaotix and Freedom Fighters ambush Mogul and his team. Sally suspected that something was up with the help from Archimedes. They created that explosion distraction and teleported everyone to safety. They noted that there were some holes in Mogul's illusions, such as Bunny lifting a boulder with her organic arm, and Sonic not being as fast as he usually is. Everyone tries to dogpile Mogul, and Archimedes tries luring a Chaos Emerald to Mogul's emerald in his staff, causing the villain to vanish, leaving the Sword of Acorn. Knuckles gets knighted, and the Freedom Fighters head home. However, Mogul reveals in the end to actually possessing the real Sword of Acorn. Battle Royal is an interesting story that actually finds a clever way of having Sonic and Co. battle the Chaotix, even if they weren't actually fighting each other. While the whole diversion seems a bit contrived for my taste, Ken was still able to deliver an incredible action-packed story, with the addition of Sam Maxwell's dynamic and abstract pencils that really sold me on the experience. One thing that does confuse me, however, is the ending, where we can see a fully decrystallized King Max. He would stay crystallized up until Return of the King, so that was just kinda odd. While it doesn't really stick the landing that well, Battle Royal functions as a decent action-adventure story. If you like some fast-paced action with a hint of magic and mystery, this is the story for you. And there you have it. We've gotten to see how Penders can deliver some decent action stories that additionally have some character depth and growth within them. The Sally miniseries and The Quest were great stories that dug into Sally's past and her determination to fulfill this mysterious destiny. in addition to also fleshing out her character and the supporting cast as seen within the miniseries, especially with the mysterious underground rebel leader, Geoffrey St. John. On the flip side, we also get Battle Royal, a story that focuses on the Chaotix and Freedom Fighters going head to head against each other, and later teaming up to go against Mammoth Mogul and his fearsome four. The special isn't just devoted to mindless spectacle, as the story attempts to add some value within it by trying to end on a rather strange, mysterious note. While they may not be perfect, this was a nice collection of fun stories that bring an edge of spectacle and substance. From influential mentors to just some confusing chaos, Ken Penders showcased back in the day that he can write some pretty entertaining stories. Thanks for watching today's video. It was fun to look at these specials and take another glimpse into the world of Archie Sonic. It was brief, but I hope to dive more into the mind of the infamous writer more into the future. But hey, if you liked what you saw, look at the funny buttons and click on them if you want to see more videos like these. I'm hoping to cover more Archie Sonic this year, so stay tuned for more. Don't forget to check out the links in the description below, such as my Discord server and more. Hope to see you all in the next Stricer video.